what about Kirk Cousins, Albert? Where could he play into all of this? Obviously, tomorrow rubber has to meet road for cap compliance, and
yeah,
would he be available if a team flipped a draft choice to Atlanta, or is Atlanta really intending to hold on to him because Arthur Blank? What do you think? What do you got for me?
I think that's part of why they're hanging on to him. I mean, let's just start with what's out there logistically, which is his contract, $10 million of his money for 2026 becomes fully guaranteed on St. Patrick's Day. So that's a week from yesterday. So if they have him on the roster a week from yesterday, then $10 million for 2026 becomes guaranteed. And so now instead of being responsible for $90 million, you're responsible for $100 million if you're the Falcons. So that's the real deadline in this whole thing. I think for Atlanta now, it's going to be, wait to see what happens with Aaron Rodgers, wait to see what happens with the Steelers and the Giants, keep an eye on the Browns, and then see if there's some sort of agreement where maybe you can buy a draft pick. In other words, you can say, we will eat X amount of Kirk Cousins money for this year if you give us this draft pick back. So then that team might be getting Kirk Cousins for $15 million or $20 million, where it can kind of be one of these things that can help everybody. The Falcons get off the hook for some of the money. The new team gets its quarterback at an affordable rate. The Falcons get the draft pick, and then, Cousins gets a clean break. So I think there's some solution that could look like that if, the Giants or the Steelers are in a desperate spot after all this. And I don't think Cousins is a bad solution. The first year coming off the Achilles to the plant foot, that's a tough deal for a quarterback, especially one of Kirk's age. I think he feels like he's going to be in a better spot. And by the way, for those who missed it, on Friday, last Wednesday, he went in and had a meeting on Wednesday night with Arthur Blank and basically told Arthur that, I want to be a starting quarterback somewhere next year. So one way or the other, I want out of here. And it'll be interesting to see where that goes over the next few days, because I would think that Kirk's wanting the Falcons to work with him, whether it's by cutting him or by trying to find some sort of trade solution that could be created by the desperation of these teams.
Any idea how that went over with Arthur Blank? Albert?
Yeah, I mean, I think Arthur Blank just said to him in not so many words, we're going to do what's best for the Falcons. And, I think part of it is they're looking at it and saying, there have been these teams that have had, quarterback injuries, and they've been putting themselves in really tough spots by not having depth at the position. And, we're responsible for $90 million anyway for the single year. So why not just pay the extra $10 million, and now we're responsible for $100 million over 2 years, but we have quarterback insurance. Now, I think the counter argument to that is, one, doing what's right for Kirk. And Kirk didn't know you were drafting a quarterback 8th overall, and he only has so much time left in the league. And, it's doing right by the player. That's number one. And then number two, are you creating a tough situation for Michael Penix? In other words, if Michael Penix has a tough first month of the season, which isn't impossible, you know what I mean? Like, say the Falcons schedule, say they have a gauntlet in that first month of the season, and Michael Penix is going to have to take his lumps. Like, are you creating a problem for your young quarterback by keeping the old starting quarterback on the roster? That's a factor too. So it's a very complicated situation. And, I think the best thing for everybody involved is for there to be some sort of clean break. I'm just not quite sure how it's going to happen yet.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.